Okay, so this is a thread from a Star Citizen streamer, and I guess he's he's had about enough. And a lot of people told me that this thread was really based and really good, and was definitely worth checking out. So let's give it a look. See, what do we think? So this is from Bognungus, uh, the guy with the mustache. If you've watched any Twitch streams before, and it's titled, "Is anyone at the offices actually playing these patches?" And he said, "I'm not expecting anything to come from this. Just need to yell at the clouds and hope to feel better about getting it out of my system. Is anyone at the offices actually playing these patches? 317 has been by far the worst experience I've ever had, and somehow each patch has been worse than the last. Let's break it down in the patch notes. Known issues. Targeting. Ship's targeting pit may be missing or disappear for some players. How is this still happening? Quite a fantastic feature for PvP. Thankfully, you could power cycle the ship to get it to pop back up. Okay. Vehicle, ships, and shields. Weapon fire penetrates shields when ships are moving. How is this possible that 317 shipped with this happening? I think removing the shields from ships might have made more sense than letting this through. Combat AI, UGF missions are sometimes missing NPC spawns to complete the mission. This was like fine for a bit, but it would happen every so often. Now it's 50-60% of the time. Turrets on around buggers respawn quickly. Feature updates. Friends list now sorted alphabetically. Wait, what? This was supposed to be for the mobiGlass, yes, or the main menu, whichever was supposed to be. No, this is not the case. The mobiGlass is exactly like it was before. Mine's alphabetical for the people who are online. Fix an issue causing multiple elevators to break and not function. No, whatever the one issue that was found that might have been fixed, but it's angered the other issues that cause elevators to break, and now they're even worse. Okay. Like, he's just going on a rant about a bunch of things that are broken that all the CIG devs do what? Blame the servers on. Right? Every single one of these, they would just blame the servers. Todd Pappy, are the elevators still going to be broken? Yep, because the server frame rate was bad. He literally said it on an SCL. So far, I'm not really seeing this as a very based post. It definitely sounds exactly like what he said it was, is just a man yelling at clouds. But the question does come from, do these guys play their patches? And they have a player experience team, and the player experience has gotten worse since the team has gotten larger. I think that's a result of a number of things. I just don't think 317 was a stable experience. It had more issues than expected, and it still continues to have a ton of issues. But I argue the same things in a lot of ways. The reason for the 317 to wipe had the same issues in the PTU, and they still pushed it. They still pushed the wipe, even though it had the same issues. You know? Crazy. And he says, I just can't wrap my head around this. Is anyone in the offices testing these patches? I understand that some things slip through the cracks. There's only so much that 4 3/8 people can test. I don't know what that means. But when you put something on a bug fixing list, you think it can maybe be tested and see if it is actually better. Fixing something only to have the overall gameplay loop be worse is not a fix. 317 has been awful from the start. Sure, there's those that have grand old time and have no issues. I sincerely hope they've purchased their allotment of scratch cards and win their local lotteries. Yes, I've put through the appropriate IC reports. Yes, I've screenshots if needed. Yes, I have clips if needed. Yes, I know it's an alpha. Just let me yell at some clouds, yeah? What the heck is happening over there? There has to be some explanation that makes sense. Please tell me there's a light at the end of this dark 317 tunnel. Please tell me that like one or two of these things can actually be fixed for 318. Thinking about 318 makes me queasy already. I love you, CIG. I seriously do. I want to play this, but why are you doing this? Is it just me? I think it's just me. It's not just you. It absolutely feels that way. And you know, one of the devs in chat was like, yeah, there's the vehicle experience team, flight experience team, all these people like play the game. And the thing is the bugs don't get fixed. And you can't blame the people that play the game. The known issues are there. The IC reports are there. They do not get actioned upon. And that is the part, I think, of open development and Star Citizen's live service alpha bullshit, essentially, is what people aren't understanding, and where the "you don't understand game development" comments come from. I don't understand it either. I don't understand how there could be a known issues list and you prioritize somebody taking the most low-hanging fruit and alphabetizing your friends list because they can't figure out the actual issues. You know, and I don't know what happened with 317, but the vibe feels like they don't action feedback quickly enough. They don't fix bugs. It always feels like they're going for the easy thing to fix and not the essential thing that needs to be fixed. That's what it feels like from the outside. Right? And it's frustrating. What version of 317 are we talking about? I mean, every version had the same problem, right? It was just like, how did this thing get out the door? It was such a weird patch, and 318 should fix one thing, and it should fix any database issues that we currently have. What new ones will pop up is going to be a whole nother can of worms. But the current experience in terms of database issues should absolutely be resolved because the system couldn't scale, you know, the usual comments that they always make. Do I believe it? I'll believe it when I see it. But I think, you know, obviously, Bog streams, makes YouTube videos, and content creation in this game is so hard. It's why I ended up making a React channel. Is because how do you stay in the space and continue to enjoy what you do with kind of feeling like you have to play the game currently when it is totally logical to kind of chill out and play other things right now and do other things right now. And I think a lot of creators struggle with that. And the thing is they didn't really kind of keep their word in a lot of ways. I wouldn't say that they lied, because I don't think it's possible to kind of keep your word. Is the idea of every patch should kind of get better, more stable. They're working off stable branches. Well, 317, it was such a weird patch. They barely put anything in it, and it was the least stable of the 315, 316, 317 patches when things started to stabilize. It made no sense to me. And then they struggled so much with the what was it? The like on foot desync, like your first person shooter desync stuff, right? It was really, really rough on that end. So yeah, I don't know, man. But I totally understand the frustration. At the same time, there's some disconnect in communication between us and them. We report bugs. We expect you to fix them. We don't expect the next patch to have more and more and more. And we definitely expect, you know, this should be fixed for it to be fixed. And it almost never is. especially related to elevators. And they've talked about how problematic those are. But yeah, that's what I feel about this is players give feedback. They want it actioned on. And that is the one thing that just isn't quite connecting, and where I think the community gets upset with the pace of development and the way they develop.